Welcome back. A new location and a new sport for wheels as we go now to Essex for the 1991 Cycle Speedway World Masters from the Thurrock circuit. 16 riders in this, the individual highlight of the Cycle Speedway season. 6 of them seeded to the finals, the national champions of England, Australia, Holland, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. The other 10 have had to qualify earlier in the day from 48 other contenders, including the current Masters title holder, who was in fact eliminated. Cycle Speedway is well supported, very professionally run and very competitive.
Thurrock used to be very, very fast. They've changed the surface over the past 12 months and it's got a little bit slippery. It's a bit unpredictable, but anything can happen. I mean, we've all got 5 races. Somebody's got to win it at the end of the day. You know, keep fingers crossed.
The 1991 Masters title turned out to be a fierce contest between 2 riders from the Midlands, Dave Hemsley and Mark Griffiths, both of whom had come through the qualifiers. Danny Zani from Ipswich started slowly but finished brilliantly. Also in there, Phil Pilbrow from Norwich, a former title holder and the oldest man in the contest, and Jason Pratt from Suffolk, who did well to qualify for the final.
The other thing is that at the grid, I shall ask you to get yourselves ready. I shall then ask if all riders ready and put you under starters' orders. Any movement after that, if it's a flyer, then I will exclude. If it is what I regard as a nervous twitch, there will be a rerun. So I will allow a nervous twitch, but not a flyer. And that's basically all I've got to say to you. I wish you all the best. May the best man win.
The rules of the sport are strictly administered, and the discipline is good. Here, each rider would have 5 races, 4 laps a race, the point scoring a bit different from conventional speedway, 4 for the winner, 3, 2 and 1. If you're excluded for some sort of indiscretion, and there are plenty of tricks of the trade, you don't score at all. Traditionally, the Masters has been held every 2 years, alternating between England and Australia. In 1987, it was held in Norwich, when Martin Hepworth won the title. But the sport is expanding, and Holland now is a contender for some of the major events. In Heat 4, although the Australian Neil Toy was the most eye-catching rider in his fluorescent strip, this was to be the clash between the 2 main contenders. Dave Hemsley, with Jason Pratt from Great Blakenham just beside him, then Neil Toy on grid 3, and Mark Griffiths, 23 years old, who was 3rd in last year's British Championship. Commentators, Dave Lanning, with, alongside him, Graham Sutton of the British Cycle Speedway Council.
Hemsley's the interesting one. Looked most impressive in his qualifier. He's on the inside here. It's been a very advantageous draw. Heat 4.
All riders ready?
Under the orders, almost touch the silence. And away they go into the turn, and Hemsley it is who does get away, and the Australian got a knock at the first corner. In 2nd place, Mark Griffiths. In 3rd place, it is Jason Pratt. So Hemsley, clean start. And he's pulling away here. And Graham, this boy Hemsley looks impressive. He's cruising, and yet he seems to be gaining ground.
Yes, a very deceptive rider with bags of speed and bags of confidence. He's only a young rider, just in his early 20s, but he's certainly looking comfortable here, and I rate him as possibly the man most likely to knock Hepworth off the top today.
Well, he takes the 4 points in 2nd place there. No trouble at all for Mark Griffiths. And in 3rd place, it was Jason Pratt. But an impressive-looking win from David Hemsley from Leicester. He takes the 4 points.
And Hemsley won his next heat too, so he'd started the tournament well. In Heat 8, Mark Griffiths on the inside was getting his 2nd ride. So was Danny Zani, who'd come a disappointing 4th in his first heat. He's in grid 3.
Riders ready? You're under starters' orders.
Off this time. Again, it is Griffiths. And again, Gale has come through very cleanly there on the inside of Simmons. And down there has gone Danny Zani, just trying to turn too swiftly. But it's Griffiths in front. Then we have Gale, and in 3rd place it's Simmons. It was a clever piece of cornering as the rider on the inside, Mark Griffiths, got clear on lap 1. Gale from the outside chose his moment. He's not going to catch him as we come into the last lap unless Mark Griffiths from Wensfield does something extraordinarily silly. So 4 points for Griffiths takes him up to 7, and that puts him up with the leaders. Second place was Gale, third place was Simmons.
And Mark Griffiths won the next heat too, so things were going well for him. But what about Danny Zani? Another disappointment for him.
Yeah, I was coming out the game for another drop down on the back straight here, and my pedal hit the shale and just went flying. See, when you get to this stage of a final, you've got to go all for the win every single race, you see, but alas, it's not working for me today.
2 points so far. Can you pick up something?
I'm going to go for every single race. Like I say, you can still finish on about 14 points, 15 points if I win every single race, but that's a long way out, long way out.
The leader, unbeaten, David Hemsley from Leicester on the outside of Varnish, and Zani could be a spoiler here. Heat number 12, and this one could have a great bearing on the eventual destination of this title.
You're under starter's orders.
Here's the start, and it's Zani has, just as we rather imagine, Zani with the pressure off, and here comes Hemsley down the inside, and that's a perfect piece of manoeuvring from the lad from Leicester, and Varnish is at the back. And the moment was right there for Dave Hemsley. Now he's got to work very hard to get up on Zani, and we heard Zani tell Stuart Jarrett that he's going to go for it even though he's well down on points, and Hemsley has got a lot of work to do. Varnish has moved through into third place just at the back as they come into the last lap. 85 metres, and Danny Zani with Hemsley. Now can Hemsley raise something extra around the last couple of turns as they go over the line? It's just a wheel or so, and Zani hanging on, but good cycle speedway. So with each of the 16 starters having completed now 3 rides, here is the leaderboard, and it is a bit tight. Mark Griffiths and Dave Hemsley, 2 Midlanders, are level on 11 points each, and then we have no less than 4 riders all tying up on 9 points. That's Martin Hepworth, Pete Young, Jimmy Varnish, and the young East Anglian Jason Pratt in there with a shout.
Mark Griffiths and Dave Hemsley, 12 heats gone, level pegging, 11 points each. How difficult is it out there?
It's a lot difficulter than earlier on in the round because the track's been swept, so it's faster now. It's a lot faster than it was earlier.
Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I'm finding the track surface actually suiting me better now. Bit grip here and managing to pick up the points a bit easier.
You've each had 2 wins and a second place. What's it going to be like over the last 8 heats?
Yeah, you can never tell. A lot depends on what all the other riders do, and there's a lot of tactical riding, so it's going to be difficult.
Heat 14. Hemsley, we remind you, the joint leader, has dropped 1 point so far.
All riders ready?
Watch for the big elbow from Simmons if he just gets a tire's width into the first corner. Heat 14. And he is away, and they all bunch up, and Hemsley just holds on to second place. And now he's going to go after Simmons, and this is going to be fascinating. It's going to be tactical because Simmons is in front, and he has eyes in the back of his head as Hemsley comes up under him, and he goes by him really cleanly there. And Gamble and Lloyd just getting together at the back there, and the Irishman has been relegated, but that was a most casual piece of overtaking almost by David Hemsley. We thought that Simmons would be obstructive. We thought that he'd counter the moves. Instead, Dave Hemsley just went sailing past on the inside and picks up 4 points, and he is really going to be in with a shout at this title now. Well, here is the pass, and we can see it well, there's a hole there, and Simmons could do nothing about holding back Hemsley, and Hemsley went past and gained, and there was no catching him after that. A most impressive piece of overtaking, but Simmons did leave a hole. Coming into heat number 15, and we do have an interesting equation here because we've got Phil Pilbray on the inside, really out of contention on 7 points, but then we have 3 Wensfield riders. Mark Griffiths on 11, Andy Palmer on 5, Jimmy Varnish on 9. Now Graham Sutton, the referee Dave Hunting, is going to have to watch in case there are some team tactics and the Midlanders try to team up to get Griffiths clear and then protect him. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, indeed. He is standing in front of them on the grid there, and I'm sure he's said something to them before they go to the tapes about team riding. They know that it's strictly forbidden in individual events.